Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to Command Point. Today, I am going to talk a little bit about the Elucidian Starstrider Kill Team that is coming out in the Kill Team Annual. I'm going to give you guys my first reactions to this team. I've got a bunch of pictures here of the thing because I don't really have like an overhead camera rig that I can like flip through. So I've got pictures of the thing here. And I'm gonna be honest. Before recording this, I've barely looked at this team, so a lot of this is gonna be like kind of my first impressions, my initial takes. So I haven't seen it on the table at all. I haven't gotten the chance to play against it or even taken a deep dive into the rules. So it's really exciting that we are getting the Starstriders after a lengthy hiatus of the Rogue Trader models in Kill Team. I'm obviously more excited for the Gellerpox personally, on a personal level, because I love the Gellerpox. If you're a longtime listener, you know that about me. But the Starstriders are pretty cool too, and let's find out if their rules reflect that. So, let's start. Their archetypes to start are Recon and Security. That is, depending on what these models look like, that can either be a really good or a really bad thing, and we're going to find out. You don't. This is interesting, and this applies to Gellerpox too, in a way, where you don't really list build. You just have a list. So you have Lucia Vane, one Canid, which I think is the dog. I believe that dog had a name. And apparently not anymore. I don't see the name on here. Death Cult Executioner, one Lectromeister, a Rejuvenat Adept, a Void Master, 3 Voidsmen with a lasgun and gunbutt, and then 1 Voidsman with a rotor cannon and gunbutt. And you can only have Elucia Vane added to your... That's only like a narrative thing, I think, because you don't get to... This is just what your list is. So... let's take a look at the faction-specific tac ops for this team. So they get their 3. I'm going to breeze through these because I don't love faction tac ops for the most part. I'm just going to figure out if they're good or not, and I'll give you my take. So there's Reputation to maintain. Reveal this tac op the first time a fight or shoot action is declared for a leader, operative, friendly, or enemy. When this tac op is revealed, both players start a Reputation tally. If both players reveal this tac op simultaneously, only start 1 Reputation tally each. Add 1 to your Reputation tally each time a friendly leader operative inflicts a point of damage on an enemy operative. Note that in the rare instance an enemy operative did not lose a wound as a result of a point of damage, you would still add 1 to the Reputation tally. Interesting. And then if your reputation is 12 or more, you score a victory point, and at the end of the battle, if your reputation tally is greater than that of your opponents, you score a victory point. Interesting. A leader operative. So it's like it's like your leader is trying to do a lot of damage. Very interesting. Inflicts a point of damage. So, I mean, I don't know who the leader even is on this team, but we'll get there. Right? Claim for House Vane. Reveal this tac op in the target reveal step of the first turning point. Your opponent selects 1 objective marker. It cannot be an objective marker that can be permanently removed from the kill zone, but it can be an objective marker that can be carried. At the end of the turning point, if friendly operatives are controlling that objective marker, you score a victory point. And at the end of the battle, if you're controlling that objective marker, you score another victory point. So, okay, that's pretty standard. That's possibly okay on certain setups. They're always going to try to make it hard for you. So there's certain maps where you just can't, or certain missions where you just really can't take this. But yeah. Investigate motive force. Reveal in the target reveal step of any turning point. Second time a friendly Lectromeister operative performs the investigate motive force action, you score a victory point. And then the third time he does it, you score another victory point. So the investigate motive force, it's 1 action point. An operative can perform this action while it controls an objective marker that is not within your drop zone and has not been investigated for motive force during the battle. Oh, wow. We'll see. I mean, maybe this character is able to do this well, but this seems bad to me. This seems really bad. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Again, this is an early gut take. Let's move on. Okay, so they get the Warrant of Trade ability. So up to 3 times per game, you can use a Warrant of Trade ability. The chart is there. Each ability specifies when it can be used. You must inform your opponent when you do so, and you cannot use the same ability more than once per game. Okay. So coerce in the select drop zone. So you do it in the select drop zone step. After rolling off to decide attacker and defender, you can re-roll your dice. Interesting. So that would be one of your 3 right off the bat. So you can re-roll your. Interesting. Okay. I mean, all right. Pretty weird, but okay. Let's stick with it. Coordinate. You do this one at the end of the select a kill team step. You just get to add a command point to your pool. All right. Well, that's pretty cool. We'll see what their ploys look like. But that sounds nice. Adaptable terms. At the start of the select TAC ops step, you do this. You can select TAC ops from 2 of your archetypes rather than 1. Okay. So a lot of this so far, there's 3 more, but this is like you get an early advantage. Like you start out a foot ahead. And I think a lot of this team's power level is going to determine how evenly they match up without that, because that's going to determine whether these Warrant of Trade abilities are bringing them to the level or if it's bringing them above the level. And that's really interesting to me. So consideration, basically, okay, this one you do, you can select 6 additional points worth of equipment. This is again going to determine, it's going to be, the strength of this is going to vary depending on how good their equipment is. We'll get to that though. And then there's the Explorer ability. So this happens at the end of the scouting step. Select and resolve an additional scouting option. It must be a different option to your original selection, and initiative is still determined by your original selection. Okay, that's solid. That can be pretty good. Seize. You do this in the initiative phase after rolling off to determine initiative. Okay, yeah, you re-roll your dice. So once per game, you can re-roll your initiative roll, which is humongous. That can win a game. These are cool. I mean, these are interesting. I mean, we got to get the full scope though. So let's keep moving. Let's keep plugging along. Privateer support assets. This is another thing they get. Once per firefight phase, when you would activate a ready friendly operative, you can use a privateer support asset instead. Okay. Each time you do so, select one of the ranged weapons opposite and perform a shoot action with it. After you've done so, your opponent activates one of their operatives as normal. You cannot select a ranged weapon you selected in the previous turning point, but you can in a turning point thereafter. For example, if you selected Archaeotech Beam in the first turning point, you couldn't select it in the second turning point, but you could in the third. Okay. Interesting. So you just can't do it. Okay. When making shooting attacks with the ranged weapons on this page for the purpose of line of sight, draw visibility and cover lines from a friendly Navis, excluding the dog, or Elucidian operative that is not within engagement range of enemy operatives. It's treated as a friendly operative for making the shooting attack. Other than command reroll, you cannot use any strategic or tactical plays for shooting attacks made by privateer support assets. So this is very similar to the ancillary support that Guard get. Okay, I mean, Archaeotech Beam, 4 shots on 4s, 6-7, AP2, Barrage. If they don't have any dice manipulation, that's going to be very, very bizarre, like using this weapon, because 4 attacks on 4s is very dicey, but at the same time, it's AP2 with 6-7 damage, so maybe that's just good. Next one, Guided Shell, 5 shots on 4s, damage 3-5 with Barrage and Blast. Okay, all right, not bad at all. And then there's the Cluster Bomb, 5 shots on 4s, damage 2-3, Blast 3. Okay, Blast 3. I don't think we've seen that before. I like that Guided Shell. If you don't need the Blast 3, I think that Guided Shell is the way to go. And the Archaeotech Beam, maybe. Okay, so let's take a look at these strategic plays. Let's see. Let's see what we got going here. So, 1 CP, lethal proximity. Until the end of the turning point, each time a friendly Starstrider operative makes a shooting attack against a target within 6 inches of it, and the roll attack dice step of that shooting attack, you can re-roll one of your dice. I like that. It's simple. It's not weird. It's not like some of the Navis Breacher stuff where like you're putting a token down to make your mediocre guys better. I like this. Stake claim for 1 CP. Place one of your claim tokens anywhere in the kill zone each time a friendly Starstrider operative fights in combat or makes a shooting attack against an enemy operative within 3 inches of that token. Before rolling your attack dice, you can retain one as a successful normal hit without rolling it. And at the end of the turn, you remove the claim token. So I was just talking about tokens and weird janky stuff, and here we are. You just place a token down, and your characters get to retain a hit if they're near the token. I don't love this, I'll be honest. Maybe it's going to be better on Into the Dark, where there's a lot more choke points, a lot more tight areas where you can, benefit from these tokens. But generally speaking, the play patterns that these kinds of ploys encourage, I don't love very much. It also encourages you to bunch up, which is always weird. Okay, so Undaunted Explorers for 1 command point. Until the end of the turning point, each time a friendly Elucidian Starstrider operative that is within 2 of an objective marker or within 6 of your opponent's drop zone fights in combat, or a shooting attack is made against it, in the resolved successful hit step of that combat or shooting attack, you can have the damage inflicted on that friendly operative, rounding up, from one of your opponent's successful hits. Okay, so if you're on an objective marker or within 6 of your opponent's drop zone, I don't know. That's interesting. Okay. New Frontier, 1 command point. Until the end of the turning point, each time a friendly Starstrider operative, other than the dog, performs a normal move, it can make an additional 1 inch for that move, but must finish that move closer to your opponent's drop zone. Weird. Okay. Tech plays. Combined arms. Use this tactical ploy after rolling your attack dice for a shooting attack made by a friendly Starstrider operative. If the target of that attack is an enemy operative that was targeted by another friendly Starstrider operative with a shooting attack during that turning point, you can reroll any or all of your attack dice for that shooting attack. So I believe this is there is an Imperial Guard ploy, actually, that is the same thing as this, like a Compendium Guard ploy. And that is a good ploy. And I believe I said once a long time ago that if there was ever a like kind of a big boy meta of more elite teams, this would get better. And here we are. Legionnaires are running around. Intercession, Phobos, Custodes still exist. This is pretty cool. I like it. Okay, so Survivalist. Use this tactical ploy when a friendly 1 CP. Sorry, when a friendly Elucidian Starstrider operative more than 3 inches from enemy operatives is activated, regains 4 lost wounds. Wow, that's pretty nice. Daring, 1 command point. Use this tactical ploy when a Starstrider Navis operative is activated. Add 1 to its APL. That's always nice. Well Drilled. Use this tactical ploy when a friendly Elucidian Starstrider Navis operative is activated. Select one other ready friendly Starstrider Navis operative visible to and within 6 inches of that operative that is eligible to be activated. After that first friend... Okay, so it's a GA2. It's like a 1 CP GA2 on 2 of your Navis guys, which I presume are the non-character, non-dogs, but let's get to that. And by the way, those ploys are solid. I actually like the selection of ploys here, and makes me think that maybe I'm going to like that extra CP from the special ability. Okay, so getting on to the characters. We're going to start with Elucia Vane. One of the stars of the show here for Starstriders. So she is movement 3 circle, so 6 inches, 2 APL, 3 defense dice, 4 up save, 8 wounds, so not particularly beefy. She does have a 4 up invulnerable save, though, can I see, with that disruption field. Let's take a look at her weapons. So she's got a digital laser, 4 shots, hitting on 3s, damage 0/0. I love it. But, there's a lot going on here. Range 3, lethal 3, indirect, limited, mortal wound 2. This is a strange team. Okay, heirloom relic pistol, 4 shots on 3s, damage 4/5, range 6, indirect again with P1. That's pretty sick. Monomolecular cane, what does that say, raptor? 4 shots on 3s, damage 3/6, lethal 5. So no range restriction. That's just a solid, decent gun. Okay, as a predator, each time this operative is activated, perform a free fight or shoot action. Okay, so it's kind of like 3 APL for that, because you can move dash shoot, or you can like shoot and then shoot for free and then charge and fight, or Yeah, that's pretty cool. This is interesting. A very offensive, punchy model. Merciless. Each time this operative fights in combat or makes a shooting attack, if it's against an enemy operative that has fewer than its starting number of wounds remaining, in the roll attack dice step of that combat or shooting attack, you can re-roll one of your attack dice. So if you've heard it at all, you get re-rolls. And it's got a couple of 6-inch and 3-inch range weapons. So, I mean, that ploy, that strategic play where you're getting a reroll within 6 is pretty intriguing. I like that. I just want to check. Yeah, no, she doesn't have to pick a weapon. She just gets all 3 of those weapons. Okay. Interesting. Oh, and she's the leader. So that answers that question. Okay, let's look at the doggy. 8-inch movement, 2 APL, 6 wounds, 5 up save, 3 defense. It has the vicious bite attack, 4 attacks on 3s, damage 3/4 rending. It's a Crute Hound basically. It can't perform mission actions. You can't give it equipment okay. So there's probably some dog equipment because it says unless it's specified. Each time this operative is activated, it can ignore the first distance of circle it travels for a climb, drop, or traverse. Very cool. So this thing is super duper fast. Loyal Companion. Each time an enemy operative performs a fight action, if this operative is a valid target, you can select this operative as the target instead. Each time an enemy operative finishes a charge action within engagement range of another friendly Starstrider operative within 3 of this operative, if this operative is not within engagement range of an enemy operative, this operative can perform a free charge action, but must finish that move within engagement range. Okay. Yeah, it's like a bodyguard. That's pretty interesting. I don't really want people to attack my dog, even if it's the right play, because it's a dog. I don't want my dog to die. It's got the retrieve action for 1 AP. You perform a free dash, fallback, or normal move action with this operative. At any point during that move, you can perform the pickup action for free. Oh, and any remaining increments of movement can be used after it does so. Okay. Pretty good for objective play. I like that. All right. Death Cult Executioner. 3 APL. Ooh, 6-inch movement. Defense 3. 6 up save. 8 wounds. It's got a dart mask, a 6-inch shooting attack. 4 shots on 3s, damage 1/1. Lethal 5 up, silent, and stun. So you really just try to use this to stun people. Interesting. And then a power weapon, 5 attacks on 2s, 4/6, lethal 5. So that's a good power weapon. That's not a wimpy power weapon. 5 up invulnerable save. All right, so don't worry about that 6 up save. Each time this operative fights in combat and the resolve successful hit step. Okay, so you can parry before the combat starts. That's an amazing ability. Zealot. Each time this operative would lose a wound. Ooh, and it's got a 6 up feel no pain. Okay. Very interesting. You're gonna want to be healing this one quite a bit with that attack play. And then it's got the assassin action for 1 AP. You change its order. All right. Okay. Pretty cool. Let's go to the Electromeister. As I take a sip of my coffee here. So, he is APL 2, 6-inch movement. He's got a 4-up save. He's got a Voltaic pistol, 4 shots on 4s, damage 4/4, range 6, rending splash 1. Okay. He's got a gun butt, of course. So this is going to be a utility character for sure, because offensively he's looking pathetic. Voltgeist array. Each time a shooting attack is made against a friendly Starstrider operative within 2 circles, so 4 inches of this operative, and the roll defense dice step of that shooting attack, you can reroll one of your defense dice. That's really nice. Missionary of the Martian Creed. Once per turning point, during this operative's activation, it can perform a mission action for 1 less action point. That's cool. And it's got the Voltgeist field action. So until the end of the turning point, each time an enemy operative ends a move within 2 inches of this operative, inflict D6 mortal wounds on that enemy operative. Oh my goodness. This operative cannot perform this action while within engagement range of an enemy operative, or if it has performed the Voltgeist charge action. Okay, so let's read that. Until the end of the turning point, the Voltaic pistol this operative is equipped with gains the lethal 4-up special rule. Okay. So 4 shots on 4s, you're critting on 4s, so it's doing the same damage, but you're getting that, the rending doesn't matter. So it's just for the splash, really. So it's kind of like you turn the weapon into like a 5/5 instead of a 4/5. Cool. The Voltegeist field is awesome. I would love to sit this guy back on like a back point, just behind, some of your gunners or more offensive models to give them those defensive rerolls. In cover, concealed, popping Voltegeist field. I love it. I like him. He's cool. All right, let's move on to the Rejuvenate Adept. I'm going to take a guess here, wild guess before I read this. It's probably some sort of medic. APL 2, 5 up save, 7 wounds. He's got a last pistol and a scalpel claw. Okay, normalizer home. While a friendly Starstrider operative is within 6 of this operative, it is not treated as being injured. Only ignore the modifier to its movement characteristic as a result of being injured if it is activated within 6 of this operative. That's cool. All right, neat. Battlefield surgery, once per turning point. So this is a revive. I'm not even going to bother reading it. It's a revive. It works the same as a lot of other revives, although they do come back with 3 wounds remaining, which is different and pretty cool. Yeah, that's a revive. Medics are good, guys. And then it's got the 1 AP healing serum, which I'm going to assume is a heal. Yep, within 1, and it's D3 plus 3, so really good. That is better than 2D3. Awesome. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I want to say like, oh, this seems like a good take, but you don't really have a choice anyway. But this seems like a good model, so there's that. We'll take a look at the Voidmaster and the Voidsman. So the Voidmaster is APL 2, 6-inch movement, 5 up save, 8 wounds. He's got a shotgun. The close range profile rocks. 4 shots on 2s, damage 4/4. The long range kind of sucks, but it's basically a las gun. It is a las gun, actually. 4 shots on 4 is 2/3. Yeah, he's got a las pistol as well. I don't know why you'd ever use that instead of the shotgun. And he's got a gun butt. Disciplinarian ability. While a friendly Voidsman operative is within 2 circle of this operative, weapons that friendly Voidsman operative is equipped with gain the balanced. Ooh, okay, cool. Hardy, once per battle, in the resolve successful hit step of a combat or shooting attack, you can ignore the damage inflicted on this operative from 1 attack dice. So that's like a Rosarius that he just gets in his kit innately, which is very cool. And then he's got the unique action for 1 point, uncompromising fire. Make a shooting attack with the las pistol and make a shooting attack with the close range profile of the Artificer shotgun this operative is equipped with in any order. This is treated as a shoot action. This operative cannot perform this action if it has a conceal order or while within. Wow, okay, that's pretty cool. That's why I used the las pistol. It's because he got that. And then we got the Voidsman, which is just looks like a guardsman chassis. There's going to be the one with the rotor cannon, which is 6 shots on 4s, 3/4 with fusillade and heavy, which is fine. But yeah, so let's take a look at the equipment, which I don't have on a picture for some reason, so I'm just going to read it to you guys and we'll put it in post or something. So they can take a flash visor for 1 equipment point, which is basically you ignore modifiers to the operative's APL. It's not affected by the stun critical hit rule, which is cool. Carapace armor for 2 equipment points. This is for the Voidsman or Voidmaster only. You improve their save to a 4 up from a 5 up. Okay. Hotshot capacitor pack. You add 1. 2 equipment points. It's just like the Vet Guard one. Their las guns become bolt guns as far as damage goes. Concussion grenade. You do the 1 AP concussion grenade action. Select a point of the kill zone within 6 of this operative. Roll a d6 for each okay, so this is like a stun grenade. Okay. These things are kind of mediocre. Not very good. Don't worry about it. And then it's just frag and crack. Okay, so you're going to take a crack. So that's 3 points. Honestly, the equipment isn't great. I'll have to mess around with this team and put them on the table a little bit to find out if having the extra 6 equipment points is really worth it at all. But yeah, I don't love that. I do want to note that the strengths of Elucidian Vein, because there is that the faction tac op that allows you to that requires your leader to do more damage than their leader. And Elucidian Vein is decently punchy. I think she could actually, I think she can outpace some leaders. but it's it's a scary proposition. I would maybe avoid that tack up if possible, especially against some of the punchier teams in the game. You're going to struggle to out damage a novitiate superior, for instance. That model is just ridiculously strong. But against some other weaker leaders, like if you're playing against Wormblade, perhaps, absolutely go for this. You're going to out damage them easily. So that kind of wraps up my first impressions of the Starstriders. Overall, very weird team. Interesting rules going on here. At a glance, I kind of like it. My favorite tack op was that reroll within 6-inch one, and I kept noticing as I was going through these characters, they have a lot of characters that have great guns 6-inch range. So that's an interesting thing to me. I got to see them on the table a little bit more. They've also got those special, kind of the ancillary support, the privateer nonsense. So this team might have some legs. On a first impression hot take, this might be totally off. I actually like them a little bit more than the Navis Breachers. We'll see how well that take ages. There's certainly, you could say that the Navis Breachers are a little more adaptable because they're not locked into one list, but let's be honest, it's going to become one list. The vast majority of teams in this game have quote-unquote choices, but it becomes just a single list once it gets optimized anyway. So, for Starstriders and Gellerpox, they kind of just did that for us. They gave us the list. So, I don't really mind it. It doesn't change much for me. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think of the Elucidian Starstriders, whether you think they're going to be good or bad. Give me a yay or nay on these guys and girls and doggies. This is Shane signing out.